This giant sequoia tree stump is one of about 200 in the Kings Canyon National Park. One photographer documented the logging of these trees over 100 years ago. His name is C.C. Curtis, and his photos were recently published in a book.
This was one of the logging areas here.
Jackie Weiner guides a tree stump tour in the Kings Canyon National Park. A former park employee, she's done this many times, but this tour is special. It's the culmination of a decade of work.
That's what I wanted to find out, is what were they thinking? Why were they cutting down the trees?
Research led to this man, C.C. Curtis, a photographer in the 1880s who lived and worked on top of a tree stump, documenting the logging.
There was a man here with a story, and he had a camera.
She tells his story in her book, Timely Exposures, published 2 weeks ago.
Gotcha.
Climbing atop his studio stump on this day is an emotional moment for Jackie and, get this, Curtis's great-grandson, who came from Washington State to see the area for the first time.
Very emotional to be up there.
Don Anand has about 50 of Curtis's glass plate negatives.
To get them out of the way, they were a nuisance, and then my father kept them in the closet for a long time.
It's unknown whether Curtis's negatives are worth much money today. His photography career failed before the turn of the century.
But this one is so extraordinary.
Now, more than 100 years later, his biggest fans visit his canvas. If you want to see the places featured in the book, including this stump that I'm sitting on, entrance into all national parks is free this weekend. Reporting from Kings Canyon National Park, Rachel Azevedo, CBS 47 on your side.
But this one is so extraordinary.
These giant sequoia trees have mesmerized visitors for generations. This group is touring Grant Grove in the Kings Canyon National Park, but they're here to see the stumps more than the trees.
That's what I wanted to find out, is what were they thinking? Why were they cutting down the trees?
Jackie Weiner, leading this tour, is a former park employee. Her research led her to the work of C.C. Curtis, a photographer who documented the logging of giant sequoias here in the 1880s.
I identified with his passion.
Her recently published book, Timely Exposures, features Curtis's photos. His studio was built on top of this stump. Over 100 years later, it's hardly changed.
You got a great one.
Among the group taking in the sights on this day, Curtis's great-grandson and several collectors of Curtis's work.
All out there in their best dress.
Michael Seamus has an original print.
People ask me, why did I have that image blown up? And I talk about the significance of the image, showing people actually dancing on a stump, and that the photographer was from Hanford.
Curtis didn't make much money and stopped taking pictures, but he never got rid of his negatives.
If anything should happen that I should need a little money for my living, I can get prints made from these good old negatives and go from house to house.
Those have stayed in the family.
They're worth a lot to me, but as far as monetary value, I don't know.
Curtis passed away in 1956, but his work lives on, as do his subjects. In Kings Canyon National Park, Rachel Azevedo, CBS 47 on your side.